I would say that's why I wrote the book. The books will do the work. That's the cool thing about writing. It opens up our imaginations and gives us sort of an entry point into having these tough conversations. Read the book with your students. Let your students read the book. Have that reader's theater, that community reading. I think the power is in the literature. And you don't have to do all the work. I tried to be a teacher. I lasted 1 year. Teaching is the most difficult job ever. You all should be paid like football players, truthfully, because it's sacred hard work. I try to write books that supplement what you do. So the only thing I say is you let the books do the work. I think you start with honesty. I used to wonder, when should I talk to my daughter about slavery? Like, when do I have that conversation? I asked my mother about it, and she said, you talk to her about it when she asks, or when she gives you the indication that she's ready to learn about it. And then you got to be truthful and honest and authentic. I mean, you don't want to devastate, you don't want to destroy, you don't want to just make your child feel this kind of pain. And so the goal is to sort of, again, find books that are going to help you do the work. So when I wrote The Door of No Return, I used my 14-year-old as sort of my gauge. How can I write a book that is not going to totally destroy her when she reads it? So you sort of, you balance the tragedy with the triumph, the pain with the hope, the woe with the wonder. Good books can do that. And I feel like I've written a couple good ones. When I wrote The Unspoken and when I wrote The Door of No Return, I knew I was going to be sort of in some rough waters, some troubled waters, as it were. I knew that it was going to be a hard read. And it was definitely a hard write. I'd have to stop writing, for a day or a week and go walk around Regent's Park or something. Just take a break, because ultimately I know that I want to write books that are filled with hope, are filled with possibility. And these two books were antithetical to that. They were about the opposite. But I knew that eventually, as I got towards the end of the book, I was going to have to find my way back to this hope. And I remember one day I was walking in the Rose Garden in Regent's Park. And I was like, you know what, Kwame? You start off The Door of No Return in this really sort of, adolescent period of joy and possibility and dreams, and then you wade in this sort of water that's very troubled, but by the end of the story you got to come back to that possibility. Books have the way of opening up a world of possible. So when I got to the end of Unspoken and The Door of No Return, I knew, this is a long way to answer it, sorry it's a long answer, but I knew I was going to have to come back to that joy or to that possibility or to that hope, because in reality, in life, I am an African American, okay? I am here because there were many people before me, my great-grandmother, my great-great-grandmother, my great-great-great-grandmother, who's from a place called Sierra Leone, because these people survived. So they made it. So there had to be some hope because they survived. So I got to focus on that. So that's a long way of saying, yeah, when I got to the end of both books, I knew I was going to bring it back to this place of wonder and possibility. I think the goal is for all of us, right, to become better human beings. How do we become better human beings? We got to be more connected to each other. Our humanity is measured by how well we treat other people, how well I treat you. In order for me to treat you well, it requires me to sort of have some appreciation for you as a human being. In order for me to appreciate you as a human being, I got to understand your humanity, right? In order for me to understand your humanity, I got to acknowledge it. In order for me to acknowledge your humanity, I got to know about it. I got to know your humanity. I got to know who you are. I got to appreciate you. I feel like the way to do that is by reading. We read about other people. You know, books are mirrors. We see ourselves, and books are windows. We see you. And so if we can see you in books, then we can begin to appreciate you, acknowledge you, understand you, and ultimately realize that you are just like me. That we are more similar than we are different. And once we do that, we become more empathetic, we become more connected to each other, and ultimately, we become better human beings. Starts in a book. The mind of an adult begins in the imagination of a child. Boom, I said it right here at Book Trust. Kwame Alexander. Don't forget it. Write it down right now. WRITE, right now.